Why Crips and GDs beef in New York? Now listen, I had to reshoot this because I had the TikTok watermark. And when you have a watermark, you get demonetized by YouTube. But there's a few things that I want to talk about first before the actual thing. First off, shut the fuck up. If you ain't a gang member, don't come on here telling me about gang shit. If you not actually in a gang, shut the fuck up. Hella civilians coming on like, oh, well, this is how it starts. Shut up. Was you there? Because I was there. I was in prison when this shit happened. Because this is where it started at. It started in prison and then it carried over to the streets. I don't give a fuck what your drill rapper told you or what you heard from some fucking clown that's a rapper. I'm talking about gangster shit. Shit that was really going on in prison. What was cool with the GDs? There was a strong 8-ball in New York all throughout the prison system. GDs was basically considered Crips. Like, they was rolling with Crips. Like, everywhere we went, we had green. We was holding that shit down. So we all had beef with the Bloods. They was beefing with the Bloods. The Bloods had a 5-point star. You know, they repped the 6-point star. We was beefing with Bloods because we Crips and they Bloods. So we had a common enemy and a common alliance. GDs was always around Latin Kings because the Latin Kings wasn't really beefing with them like that. It was more so a beef between the Bloods and everybody else because the Bloods were so powerful. So one day the GDs woke up and they was like, oh, well, we want to live better in these prison systems. So basically what they started doing was saying, oh, we don't got no beef with no Bloods. We only got beef with vice lords, etc. It was kind of like a way for them to like try to live in more prisons, but it backfired because the Bloods was like, we don't want to hear that shit. But they backstabbed us. So it was like, yo, like y'all was our allies. And now it's like, fuck Crips, like we not rolling with them. It was some real backstabbing sucker shit. It was like some scary shit. And I was there. I was in Green, 99, 2000, 2001, when motherfuckers was tight. I was in prison in 2002 when this shit cracked off and the GDs decided that they wasn't going to roll with Crips no more. They decided they was going to do what they want. This shit ain't start from nobody dying or nobody getting shot, or this started from some backstabbing sucker shit. The GDs did some backstabbing sucker shit. It came from their higher-ups. Their higher-ups is basically like, we want to live in prison, and if we're rolling with the Crips because the Bloods are so powerful, we're not going to be able to live. Well, y'all still can't live. So it backfired, but there was a few GDs throughout the state that was in specific areas, BDs as well, because there is no differentiation between them at the time in New York. GDs and BDs was one together. They was both in Brooklyn, so there wasn't no really difference between them. They was considered the same. They was both doing it. Like, oh, we don't roll with no Crips, and we're GDs, we're not Crips. We don't got nothing to do with this Blood and Crip beef. So they basically backstabbed us. They basically stopped holding us down, stopped being in alliance with us so that they could try to live, but the Bloods didn't respect it. So not only did you lose the alliance, but it backfired. So a lot of the homies was going home and was like, yo, GDs is up north doing this, they doing that. And there was a feeling in the street. It was like, yo, we not fucking with y'all. We see y'all. We not throwing up no 8-ball with y'all. Suck my dick. And that's what it came down to. And then New York turned into a big GDK situation. Those feelings that from what was going on up north and situations and coming home started spilling over into the streets. And it's been going on in Brownsville and Brooklyn for damn near 20 years now. This is not some new shit. This shit's been going on for 15, 20 years. This shit started 20 years ago and it carried over, and it's actually carried over to new generations, to where new generations of the gangs are following behind what already happened. There have been multiple times where motherfuckers try to fix it or make it where like, oh, it's going to be okay, like we're going to get cool. But now there's been so much violence, there've been murders, there've been deaths, there've been so many things that happen that I don't see it ever getting cool again. Now, if you go to another state, like Chicago or somewhere down south, there's still a lot of places where Crips and GDs are cool at. There's a lot of places where you can go to where that's what it is. But in New York, for what they did, the backstabbing, etc., they not going to be forgiven for that shit. And then the beef that came after that shit was just so heavy that it went over. And that's how it started. It started from something minor, like them leaving an alliance and basically backstabbing us and not wanting to roll with the Lokes, etc. If anybody tells you anything different, tell them shut the fuck up. They wasn't there. If you getting your information from some 20-year-old, 21-year-old, shut up. Like, you wasn't even around. You wasn't even off the fucking porch when this shit was going on, when this beef actually started. If a motherfucker tell you anything about this situation or what's going on and he's under 30, shit, really, if he under 35, he don't know what the fuck's going on. Because you wasn't around. You wasn't in the streets. You wasn't around gangbanging. You wasn't around when none of this shit was going on. None of these situations, etc., that led to where we are now. But yeah, they backstabbed us. Fuck them.